Hi everyone. So, usually when I make a video like this about a famous person who's passed, it's usually a bit of a reflection on their life, and that would be the sort of approach that I take. But this one's different because the Queen is someone that every Briton alive will have no one in the background. She was always there. Whether people were Republican or Royalist, she was an ever presence. So we knew this day would come. She was an old person, but I felt it would be a bit later. I didn't think. I mean, I heard the news that she had cancelled the Privy Council meeting. I thought it was the routine advice with doctors. We knew she was frail. But that last picture of her with the new Prime Minister, with Liz Truss, was she looked happy. I don't know if the official cause of death has been announced, but um, I don't think there's been anything quite like it in my lifetime in this country. I mean, yes, the death of Diana was huge, and that was the most watched funeral ever. Uh, I'm not sure if this will be on the same scale or even bigger. I don't know yet. But Queen Elizabeth II, the world's longest serving head of state, the world's longest reigning queen ever. Um, I mean, the number of landmarks this woman set is incredible. I went early this morning. I was up all night. I was actually watching Bohemian Rhapsody last night because I was watching a lot of news coverage, of course, but I wanted to watch a film as well, and that somehow seemed appropriate. Queen. Um, but I went to the news agents quite early by my standards, about 7 a.m. And the young guy there barely had time to open the papers when people were coming in and getting them. That's what it's going to be like. Um, I'm not sure to what extent this is going to be like 1952. At that time, there was obviously the solemnity of the occasion, and the Queen's father was also a loved monarch, but because of the because of the dynamic here of social media and television and the internet, I mean, one of the strangest things for me, Sky actually announced it first a few seconds before the BBC, which is unusual. They were speculating on her health, then Sky said the Queen dies. I went to the BBC, Hugh Edwards in the black tie, and you know it's going to be big because this is a procedure when a member of the royal family passes. And then the announcement. Um, and it wasn't like usual breaking news. It was sort of ongoing commentary, and it's very frantic. There was a sort of respectful pace to it, but it was something unique. Already, there's been some emotive reactions in Scotland, and I won't make too much of this because it was an ugly incident, and I don't want to, make it bigger than it is. But there's a village called Moor of Ord up in the Highlands, and some woman outside a fish and chip shop, well, it was her fish and chip shop, decided to open a bottle of champagne and make a very distasteful message about the late Queen. And well, basically, an angry mob went to the place and she shut down, and the Association of Fish Fryers have denounced her, and there has been that sort of emotive response. Now, in this country, 2022 isn't 1952, but I think the presence that the Queen has had for so long. By the way, just on that incident, I don't support mob violence no matter what the situation, but people who are vilifying the late Queen, and they're a very small minority, but those who are, would do well to recognise that even if they don't agree with monarchy, this is a woman who selflessly, for 7 decades, devoted herself to public service. She never asked for this role, um, and that's a fact. Now, The thing I found strange was when they started talking about the king and and queen consort, and that's what we're going to have to get used to now. King Charles III. Apparently, he's already addressed the nation. My sleep pattern's been all over the place. Um, I mean, it's good that he was with her when she passed. I understand Charles and Anne were there, but that's it. We now have a king, for the first time in 7 decades. His Majesty, King Charles III. I thought Truss had jumped the gun on that, but apparently that will be his real name. Obviously, the coronation won't be for some time. This is a period of mourning, and there's going to be a transition. There's a lot that's going to go on constitutionally. I think Charles has had to meet privy councillors, the Prime Minister. Parliamentary business has been suspended. Um, we're really going to see the impact of this because over time we're going to see money change. We're going to see post boxes change. It's not going to happen overnight, and nor should it. Um, but for me, and I suspect many people, it's just a state of it's a little bit surreal to think that she really is gone now. I mean, like I say, she was an old woman. We knew she was frail, but and this day would have come eventually. But I personally thought it would be a bit longer. I thought maybe, and I hope this isn't disrespectful to talk like this, but I thought it would be maybe next year or the year after. I thought she'd maybe make it to 98. Um, but 96 is a long life, and my goodness, did she fill that life? Probably the most photographed woman in the world. Um, almost certainly the most famous woman in the world. With the brief periods that Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana were at their peak, but Queen Elizabeth II has obviously had a much longer life, and she has always been there. Um, like I say, I didn't really want to make this a biographic video because it might be another time for that, and I'm sure I'll probably make another video on the subject, maybe on the issue of monarchy. I don't know. For now, I don't see any sudden Republican rush in this country. Charles may not, His Majesty, I should say, may not quite have the prominent appeal that his mother had, but he is the king now. This man is our head of state. And when I applied to the armed forces, I swore an oath of allegiance to the Queen and her successors. And even though I didn't get in the end, I took that seriously. Um, and I think people should be, if you're of faith, praying for Charles. If you're not of faith, people should be thinking of him at this time. Not only has he lost his mother, but he's now the head of state, and it's not quite the same as what the Queen went through. She was a young woman. She was in Kenya at the time, and it was that must have been daunting. At least Charles has had obviously a long time to prepare, but it's still going to be daunting. He was close to his mother, and I hope the nation supports him in at least that, in at least the responsibility that he will assume. All the leaders, from the Prime Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, Keir Starmer, um, they were all, I think, touched on the right notes. Just one other thing, which is kind of a matter of coincidence, but when um, when the late Queen, it's strange to think like that, but when Queen Elizabeth II came to the throne, she was a young woman and she had an old man mentor in Winston Churchill, so an old male prime minister and a young woman monarch. Now we sort of have the other way around. We have an older monarch. Charles is the oldest monarch ever on ascension, and a relatively young woman prime minister, so it's sort of the reverse. I'm not saying it's the same situation at all, but it's just kind of reversal. Anyway, and as for this trust, what a way to enter number 10. I mean, 1.5 days into the role, and this huge event happens. So she'll have a quite a big role in this. Of course, there'll be a lot of liaison between Parliament and the palace. I think we're going to see how this, it's not a new dynasty, but how this new monarch how his his um his monarchy will develop. Um, it's not a new dynasty, still the Windsor dynasty, but it is the end of the Elizabethan age. This is a historic moment in this country and really in the world as well when we consider how long she reigned for. There's been tributes from around the world, extensive newspaper coverage, of course. I'm going to leave it there. I'm not sure there's much more I can add. Um, I don't consider myself a diehard royalist, but I am a royalist, and we're never going to see this again. We're never going to see such a long reigning monarch, certainly not such a young monarch. Um, when she ascended, um, my thoughts are with the king, and I'm going to watch his speech again. I'm not sure when it was broadcast, but my thoughts are with him and his family and the nation, because I think a lot of people will be feeling a sense of uncertainty. This is it. She's gone. Very strange thing. Okay, thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts.